Hey everybody, John Shell here with Cruise Addicts. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We're so happy to have you here. And we have actually Don from EatSleepCruise.com. Hey Don, how are you?
Good, John. Thanks for having me. So glad to be getting back talking with you about cruising.
I know. I tell you, it's so good to have you back because you've been busy. I mean, I see you on social media. I'm like, where's Don today? It's, but before we get to that, like I said, thanks everybody for joining us. Don from EatSleepCruise.com is here, and he's going to tell us about all his trips that he's been going on. We're trying to get Michael Consoli here. I think he's actually messaged me. Let's see if he's going to join. I don't think he can connect. Yeah, so he's having poor internet problems. So Michael Consoli won't be able to join us, but I was just trying to get a hold of him. He's actually aboard the Viking Octanus, so hopefully able to join us in the future for some Q&A. We'll do our best to answer any of your questions with our vast knowledge. But thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. You're watching us live on Cruise Addicts, all the Cruise Addicts groups, also EatSleepCruise.com, their YouTube and Facebook. We've combined forces and knowledge, and hopefully we'll give you some great information and maybe entertain you a little bit. But so like we were saying, Don, you just got back. Can you tell us about some of the trips that you just came back from? I know your followers know about it, but you got to bring it because I didn't know where you were. I was like, I was getting dizzy keeping up with you.
I'll wake up sometimes and not know where we are either. So we've been on a few trips since we last talked, and obviously want to focus on some of the ones that are more pertinent to some of the ships that are coming here to US, which I know folks are probably excited. And that's why you're tuning in. So let us know, of course, what ships you plan on cruising on soon. But let's see, since we last talked, we've been on Norwegian Prima, which I know we're going to talk about. We've been on Virgin Voyage's second ship, Valiant Lady. We have been on, we're just on a Canada New England cruise from Boston. We're based in the Massachusetts area, and a Canada New England cruise. And I might be missing one or two others, but those are kind of the ones that really stick out in my mind, which, like I said, sometimes they just blur together, right?
Yeah, but that's exciting. So obviously the reader, the watchers, viewers here, they can actually check EatSleepCruise.com and look for that content from those different trips. I know you do amazing coverage. So be sure to do that. And while we're at it, please give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and give us a comment. And tell us what ship you actually have planned, what cruise you have planned. Just check in with us. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you can give us a like and subscribe, we'd be very appreciative, because I know me and Don both want to be full-time YouTubers. So
you keep saying, you love to say that. We just love sharing our passion for cruising with everyone, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook. And if I become an internet sensation, that's okay, but it doesn't have to happen. I'm okay with that, John.
The other day I got a check from YouTube. It was a very small amount, but I was like, see, I'm a YouTuber.
You are a YouTuber. You have a great channel, and great. Cruise Addicts is great everywhere. It's YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. So we got some folks actually on YouTube saying hi. We got Kevin from Lakeland, Florida saying hello. We have folks from New Zealand. We got Natalia, who's going to be on MSC Seascape, which I think we're going to talk a little bit about, right? A little bit later. So people from all over the world checking in. Others, let us know what ships you're planning on cruising on and stuff. And I know, John, you got some trips coming up soon too, right?
Yeah, I have to get my notes over here because I am getting old. Did I say that?
You don't look old. You're a full-time YouTuber. You can't be old.
I know. You have to do the face. Yeah.
You have to master the pointing. So yeah. On your thumb you can point the correct way. So,
so we've just said it right down that it's like the old days there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, obviously some of the ships that I just wrote some notes down. Like I said, is Norwegian Prima obviously is coming to the U.S. You're going to be on board. Is it the first sailing almost out of the U.S. or close?
From the U.S. Yeah. So Prima is coming here Thursday, and we're getting on board in New York. And then about 2-ish weeks from then, you're going to get on board in Galveston, right?
Yeah, I'll be on board October 27th. I get to watch Kelly Clarkson.
I'm a little jealous. Kelly Clarkson is pretty amazing. So she's performing on the ship?
Yeah, she texted me the other day, and I told she was telling me, I was like, well, I asked for a backstage pass, but then I was like, I'm married, so.
So you didn't get it?
Yeah, I was like, I better not take that.
Besides
that, my wife's not watching. So then we're going to go on Carnival Celebrations coming to the U.S. the second of the Mardi Gras or the Excel class from Carnival. And that's the one that has Bolt as a roller coaster. So the naming ceremony is going to be November 20th at the brand new Terminal F at Port Miami. We're going to be there. We're going to bring you that all that information, excitement, and it will be sailing over here on November 27th at Port Miami as well. So very exciting. And I know you're going aboard Carnival Celebration as well, aren't you?
We are. I think we have plans to get on Celebration as well too. I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. We want to maybe. So those are some of the ships that are coming out. I know some folks already mentioned they're going on some of these ships. We could always just talk about like, I know you want to start. We could go in any order you want. If you want to start with Prima or talk about Celebration, you know a lot more about Celebration than I do because you've been on more Carnival ships than we have. So happy to talk about any of the ships that are coming. So we skipped over one ship we are going on too. We're going on Heidi and I Celebrity Beyond. So that's a brand new Edge class ship that's finally making its way over to the U.S. Lots of great options for people to go on cruises this fall or winter of next year, right? January or February if you want to escape the cold.
Celebrity Beyond, it says it's coming it's the third Edge class ship, right?
Yep.
And it's going to be here in November. So there's a lot going on in November. I mean, if you're a new ship fan, I know I love the new ship smell. I love new ships personally because it usually has the best. It's the flagship of the fleet for whatever brand that you really enjoy. And, it's great to get on board. But yeah, we could go back. And of course, MSC Seascape is coming. And of course, even Viking Neptune will be sailing from Fort Lauderdale. I know there's a lot of Viking cruisers watching, but I don't want to get ahead of myself too much. Can you want to talk about Norwegian Prima? I know we're covering a lot quickly, but I know you just sailed it. How was it?
Sure. Yeah. Let's talk about it. So we were very fortunate to be on the first Prima sailing, which was from we left in Amsterdam. So I went from Reykjavik to Amsterdam. So it was an 8-night cruise. It's a brand new class of ship, so completely different than Breakaway or the Breakaway Plus class ships, which I think you've been on. You've been on Encore, and so you're familiar with those. So completely different kind of layout. The dining is, me, I love to eat. So the dining is really impressive there. The new Indulge food hall might be one of my favorite dining concepts on any cruise ship.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Gene Sloan had written something that says he had sailed all the different classes of Norwegian cruise ships, and he loved it. He thought that the Norwegian Cruise Line really really took it to the next level and is a true winner for people that love Norwegian Cruise Line. But
it definitely is, because I think it took some concepts that people really love about Norwegian. So like the waterfront's always one of our favorite spots on any Norwegian ship, the Breakaway Plus class ships. Now it's Ocean Boulevard. So it's bigger. It wraps entirely around the vessel. It actually has pools. So there's Infinity Beach pool. It has these pool areas on it. It has nice outdoor bar on the aft with some plush seating. And then that Indulge food hall I mentioned is right next door. So you can get some food and in theory walk outside. It was too cold in the region we were in. But I think that waterfront concept, which people love, has just been heightened on Prima.
And you think people actually really use it? You think it was a better space? Because I've seen sometimes some of the ships where there's these types of things, but this looked like it was a better layout. You think people use it more in the Caribbean?
I think so. I mean, people were using it when it was sunny. We got a couple days where it was warm and sunny outside, so people watched some sail away from Cove, Ireland. It was a nice day, and we were pulling away, and it's a really scenic kind of coastline shot, the shoreline there. And there were plenty of people outside taking pictures and stuff. And I think once it's somewhere warmer, like maybe when you guys are on it in a couple of weeks, because New York's not going to be warm, right? But from Galveston, you guys are probably are you going to Mexico? Where's the ship?
Mexico, yeah. There's one stop I think it's Progreso, Mexico, I think.
So we'll have to follow. We follow you, of course. We'll have to get your opinion on it because hopefully the weather will be warm enough, and then people can really take advantage of all the outdoor space. There's some alfresco dining there too. So the local has a dining area out there, like their pub. And then a couple of their other restaurants like Onda and Los Lobos. They have outdoor dining too. Some of their specialty dining restaurants at night. You could eat alfresco. So it's a really beautiful space.
Yeah, I remember we had actually met up on Encore. We actually were at the outside bar area, I think, and we really enjoyed it. It was, of course, it's so great. I can speak for myself. Anytime you're outside and you're on a cruise ship, you have the nice breezes, and you can actually enjoy hearing this, sound of the ocean. I mean, it's just wonderful. So it's nice how the cruise lines have kind of really accentuated and expanded those areas.
Right, and they widened this area too, so you can still have the walkway. I mentioned there's the 2 pools, infinity pools on the starboard and port side of the ship, but they don't get in the way of traffic, so people can still walk by and go to the restaurants or walk to that aft bar, and you're not going to intrude the folks who are using the loungers or in the pool or they have these like sofa beds. So it's a really impressive space, and it is easy to maneuver. So we're looking forward, and hopefully maybe we'll get one warm day in New York to use it again. If not, we'll bring in some sweaters, and I'll still sit out there with a drink anyway.
Where's your cruise going to?
Halifax. So it's you just got to leave the U.S., right? So it's leaving from Manhattan, going up to Halifax, and then coming down. So sea day, port day, sea day.
Okay, very cool. Now I'm excited about that. So let's see, any other questions? You want to ask me questions about anything? I'm trying to think of where we want to go to next.
Well, I want to talk about Prima. So I mentioned the dining. Okay. What are you looking forward to on this ship? Obviously, I don't want to hog all the conversation. I'll talk about it all night long.
No, I'm just really excited about Prima. I mean, to see a brand new class of ship. I mean, that's the whole thing, is everything's new. You know, they might have certain elements, but to see it from a distance. And that's one thing I want to say is, you know, when you see these pictures and you see the different renderings, there's really nothing else like it when you get on board, is it? You know,
it isn't. I've said this before. I said this when we first went on Virgin Scarlet Lady, and I'll say this about Prima. The renderings usually don't do the venues justice. Right. They look amazing in person. And I know the technology is crazy, because you'll look at it. Sometimes the old days, you look at the rendering and you get on the ship like, this doesn't resemble what I thought it would look like. Now that technology, right, when they do the CGI and they create it, I mean, it looks almost exactly, but there's just something about usually the finishing touches just pop more than they can in the renderings. So I know we had a question, I think from, I'm looking, Eric asking, I think he's asking about Prima. So I'm trying to get it up on the screen, but maybe John, you can. Asking about, there we go.
Okay. Are you surprised with how small the venues are?
So I'd love to get your take on this when you're on the ship, but I would say that there are a few venues on the ship that should have been bigger.
Oh, okay.
So the two that pop, and there's other folks who are on Prima now. We have friends who were sailing the transatlantic coming over and seem to have similar issues, is the Sid Norman's Poorhouse, the Rock Club. Really great concept. I guess it was on Breakaway first. The version on Prima is not big enough, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
We got to the Rock show a half hour before it started. You couldn't get the door.
Oh wow.
That's how full it was. We kind of bulled our way in a little bit, but we got to get a little claustrophobic there. And this is a half hour before showtime, right? We know you go to a popular venue on any cruise ship, you just can't walk in 5 minutes before the show starts, right?
There was something in the back of it wasn't a Rock thing, but there was something in the back. There was like a piano bar in the back of Encore, which was packed one time too when we were back there on that one. I'm trying to think of the name of it. I'm not sure.
District. I think you're thinking District Brew House, right? Yeah, that's where they have the piano.
Is that the same thing, or this sounds like a show lounge?
It's a little different. So they actually, unfortunately, don't have a District Brew House, which is also a little tier, because that's one of my favorite bars on any cruise ship. So they don't have it on Prima. This would be where like the Cavern Club is, or I think on Encore it was right next to the whiskey bar. I'm trying to think of what it was actually.
Cavern Club right there, yeah.
Yeah. So it has a stage just like the Cavern Club did, and I think the band Siglo played on Encore.
Is it the size of the Cavern Club on Encore, or smaller?
It's not much square footage wise. That's a great question. It's designed differently. It has a nice wider stage, so it kind of wraps around more, but it can't fit many. It can't fit it. It doesn't have enough area.
If anything,
it's definitely not big enough. I would agree with Eric on that.
There was too much.
Yeah. So it just means get there early. Like that's the only thing. And folks know that now. The band that played there were amazing. They had like it was almost more like a show. They had jokes, but they were great musicians too. You're just gonna have to get there early. And then on the same token, the venue right across from it's the Comedy Club. It's called, I think, Improv at Sea, or the Improv. It's kind of tiny too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now you know if you want to do those things, you got to be pretty early. But I mean, it's great that all this stuff's in demand and people are using it. It kind of reminds me of the different things on One of the Seas. There's different places there that, you know, some stuff's just really popular. So let's see here. But what you're getting at, what I was looking for is I'm just a total ship geek, and like I said, you just never get to know what it looks like until you see it up close. And it's just a beautiful ship from what I've seen the photos and everything. I mean, it's stunning. To see the designs and the drone footage and everything. It's just really beautiful.
I totally agree. I think every venue, even if you've been to say Los Lobos on their other ships, or you've been to La Bistro or Cagney's, like these are classic venues on any Norwegian ship. The designs here are more elegant. Some of them might be a little different than I know people are talking about, the Cagney's color scheme and is completely different than the other Cagney's, but every single venue, definitely they took the time to design it. It has a more elegant feel. It actually has kind of an edge class feel to it, in our opinion. It definitely is even more elevated than Encore, which had a beautiful observation lounge. And we thought the atrium and Encore was gorgeous too. This just feels a little bit more elevated. And,
that's exactly the sense I had gotten on Encore. And the last time I had been on a Norwegian cruise ship was one of the older ones. So when I was walking around Encore, I was like, wow, this is really nice. And it's just that elevated feeling. And so I asked the travel agent that was there. I said, what is this? He goes, this is premium. He goes, this is more of a premium class ship. And so, there is that elevated celebrity kind of level of ambiance and decor and the fit and the finish. It sounds kind of strange, like we're talking about a car, so to speak. But I'm very tactile where I touch things, but when the way they build the ship and the way the materials they use is really, really second to none. And of course, even the food, down to the Broadway shows. I mean, everything is just really excellent. And so I'm really looking forward to it. And obviously, you said the food is incredible. And I know Norwegian, so much of their multimedia or social media has been talking about how they're really elevating the food on board. And Prima was kind of like the send off to that, where they were really going to reveal a lot of that new food and that elevated level of food quality.
And they've done that. So they're changing, of course. The main dining room now does not have a rotational menu, at least currently, and it's one set menu the whole cruise, and it is elevated. It has Ville Oscar, and it has a shrimp cocktail and crab cakes every night. Some other menus, like custom pasta thing where you can order some different pasta sauces and then meats with it. So it's a different approach.
Yeah. Now, and you said you were saying your favorite area on board was the marketplace, was it?
It's the Ocean Boulevard, where the indulged food-wise, the indulged food hall is great.
Yeah, the food hall.
The food hall, yeah.
And you said that was just incredible.
It's a great concept. So it's all small plates. You order from a tablet. So again, to Eric's point, finding seats sometimes at like peak lunchtime, like 12:30, or like in the early afternoon, it was a little difficult. But once you do have a seat, there's tablets at the tables, and you can order from 7 different venues that have from barbecue. They have a custom salad bar. They have this rotisserie, which has all these different cuts of meat, tapas, and it's table service. So it's kind of quick service, table service combo. The food was great. I really like the atmosphere is lively. Actually, speaking of our, Gene, Gene Sloan, who writes for Points Guy, we actually had lunch with him one day there. We had this table of food to sample everything. So it's a great concept. It's casual. It wasn't really busy for dinner. Lunch was just packed. But we had a dinner there one night when we had a late stop, and it was easy to pop in. The menu does change for lunch to dinner for most places there too. So it's not the same thing. The menu does stay the same all week, but lunch menus are different than the dinner menus. And then for breakfast, they do a grab and go. So they have breakfast sandwiches, continental items. You just kind of walk in, you can grab them, bring them back to your room, or bring wherever you want to go. And I like the convenience of it. And the food was really fresh and really well prepared.
And you're saying, so just so I understand, you actually sit down at the table and then you order it online or order it through their tablet, and then they bring it to your table?
For lunch and dinner, that's how it works. Yep.
Okay, well, that's nice. You don't have to sit and wait in line, and you can actually don't have to get lost or anything. If you're new to the area, you can go, okay, well, they're going to bring me some dumplings and some tapas and whatever it might be there, and you can try the different things without having to wait in 3, 4, 5 different lines, right? Like a traditional.
Yeah, exactly. So you can get a little bit of everything, and believe me, you wouldn't find it if you had to wait in the lines. You wouldn't find a table, and you can order as much as you want, right? We did one round. We ordered a few things because we weren't sure like how how some things are bigger than others. You're not sure until you order it how big the servings are.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, I'll order something else. There's a bar there too, the Luna bar in the back, that if you have the drink package, which almost everyone does, right? You get it with the free at sea. Then all the drinks, you get drinks right there. They had some signature cocktails on tap. They had a decent beer selection. No cruise line really. The District Brew House had a really good beer selection. That's why I kind of miss it on the ship. But they had enough variety for me. So it's a great concept. Talking to people who work for Norwegian, they know it's a hit. They just got to work on the seating, and they're hoping maybe warmer climates get some of those tablets on the outside tables, or try to find ways to utilize more of the space, because there is a decent amount of seating area adjacent, but it was too cold and windy where we were for people to eat out there.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Is and they learn. I mean, you got to give it to the cruise lines. They're so smart where they don't miss a thing. Where they're constantly, and it's not just lip service. They just constantly watch to give their guests the best experience and make it work, whatever, and make that concept work. I know we got a lot of comments here. Great. Really appreciate it. So yeah, obviously we're looking forward to Prima, and then next we're gonna go. You want to go on to Carnival Celebration?
Sure. Yeah. We'll let you, because you're the Carnival aficionado. We are going on Carnival Celebration, but we've only been on one other Carnival cruise, which I know you've been on many more than that.
Yeah, I actually personally didn't get to sail on Carnival Mardi Gras. We actually did the media preview day last year, and then we Cruise Addicts was there, but we actually weren't the ones on board. So we got teased. Let's just get it right out here. Imagine spending a whole day being able to sample different things, and then they kick you off, and then someone else goes. So I cried. I'm just gonna say it.
How did that happen again? I forget this. Oh, did Randy go? Is that what happened?
Randy went. Yeah, we're not going to talk about it. No.
You're not bitter, John. You're not bitter at all.
We need to write Randy right now here, but you can watch his video on Cruise Addicts. Look at our little plug there. Look at our Carnival Mardi Gras review. It did a great job. You can see the cruise that I didn't get to go on. I tried really hard.
But you're going on Celebration now. A lot of similar concepts, but Celebrations also has some new zones, new restaurants and bars, right?
Yeah, they actually have the new area. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Grand Central. Yeah, they changed the one area where Emeralds is, and it's called Grand Central. And they have the new bar there, and it's got the tickety-tack board and everything. I'm trying to think of the name. I didn't write notes here.
Well, I think that bar, that's going to be what, Latitudes, I think, right?
Thank you. Yes, you're so smart. That's
It's all on the internet. It's not. No, but
yeah.
Well, we didn't get to go on Mardi Gras either, and Emeralds was the first place I wanted to go. And then when I heard there was no French Quarter, I'm like, what about Emeralds? But Emeralds is going to be in that area, right?
Yeah, Emeralds. And what they've done is they've expanded it. So because it is so popular, they're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And people obviously love Emeralds. They've taken the concept and kind of reconfigure that whole area. And they've added, of course, LED screens that look like windows, and they have theme nights and lighting and everything. So they're going to make that like a street there during festive times and different themes. So it's going to be really, really nice. I think they've kind of just taken it and elevated it all. And part of it is Emeralds. They've added more sit-down dining areas, like I said, and it's going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So there's going to be basically improved everything. So really excited. And of course, the Latitudes bar. Is that what the name of it was? I'm trying to remember the name.
I think that's what it's called. Yeah, because I think that area is going to be like a couple of the restaurants there too. I think Rudy's is going to be there, the Sea Grill. That's
it's the same spot, but I don't know if it's off that area. I don't think it is.
Okay.
But yeah, that whole area, and then they have the I'm trying to think of it. But yeah, there's just so they've kept pretty much everything, but they've just changed that one zone there, and they've done some other things to celebrate the 50th anniversary. I think it is.
Yeah. Now you were only on Mardi Gras for one day, but you did get to ride the bull.
Yes, I was one of the first, which was kind of cool. Yeah, let's say it.
That's something Randy can't say. Then you were one of the first. Bull's going to be on Celebration, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping it goes around because I just went around once, and then they kept saying, well, it's designed to go around twice. Like it was supposed to be, and I don't know what it is today, but when they were originally putting it out, they were like, yeah, it's supposed to go around twice because you kind of go around and then you come around the last turn, and it would kind of slow down and you'd be kind of like, and then, on this angle, and then it would slow down and stop you. But what would really be thrilling is if you whipped around that last turn at full speed and went through where it started, that straightaway at full speed, and did another loop. That'd be really cool. So I'm really hoping they've instituted that. I have no idea. I haven't kept up to it as far as if they've added 2, because there was like how much per time, how much is it going to be per ride, and so on and so forth. But
well, that's what I'm thinking. Some folks have told us, right? They do charge, but you get 2 rides now. It's kind of what they settled on, right?
I hope so. Like I said, I'm not. It's not fresh what they've actually finally did with it. But I hope it'd be really, basically, I just know from my experience, it'd be really thrilling if you went around 2 times rather than just one real quick one, because it shoots you out real quick, and then it pulls you around, and then it has to stop you on that turn to slow you down. But if you were coming around there at full speed, it would really be thrilling. So, but I think it's just really, really neat that it has that. I mean, I always said, way back when, they're gonna have a roller coaster on one of these things one day. Who would have thought it?
I remember there was our friend Ben from Cruise Fever. I remember this is years ago now, but there was like an April Fool's thing, and it was, I think, like someone did some photoshopping, and they put like a roller coaster on a ship as a joke. And now Carnival figured out how to do it twice because it's on Celebration and Mardi Gras. Yeah.
And so, do you want to see have you seen this? You ready?
I don't know.
So this is going to be the ship. Let's see, make sure I get this name right. MSC Seascape, November. So this is going to be on MSC Seascape in November.
Yes. Show it. I know what you're talking about now.
Like I said, I don't want to show the whole thing, but now, would you ride that?
Of course. Why wouldn't I? Why, you wouldn't?
My daughter's like, I'm not riding that. I'm like, listen, it actually is the first one. It says that you can adjust it. Do you want the little baby ride, or do you want the crate ride? So
but it's what, 4 or 5 people. So how does that work? Everyone has to agree. Everyone in that session would have to agree on it. But
I guess they would have to agree.
I think so. I mean, I'd say light it up. Let's go all the way. So
she's like, I ain't doing that. I'm like, why not? I says, they got I says, there's going to be families on board. I says, it's the first one where you can actually kind of do it calm and probably real nice, and then you do like your level of just craziness. So, but I thought, who would have thunk that you'd see something like that on board a cruise ship? I mean, and, I got more comments on all the different social media. I put that video out, of I ain't doing that, or especially a lot of the Viking people just said, "Oh, this is just evil." We can't.
I mean, I love Viking Ocean and Viking River, but obviously, Tours, and that team's not putting something like that in their ship. I mean, basically, Carnival's we're MSC's hold our beer. You guys have a roller coaster. We're gonna put. I mean, that is legit technology that the Harry Potter. It looks very similar, I think, arm system to the Harry Potter at Universal or some of the other attractions out there. So it looks cool. My issue with it is it's in the middle of the ship on top. People gonna be in the pool deck and turning around. And there's gonna be people whipping around, going all around, screaming and yelling while I'm trying to chill out at the pool. They couldn't put it somewhere else.
You got a point.
I guess. When I heard about it, I hadn't seen the concept art. I'm like, oh, that's going to be, because they have a virtual reality center too, kind of like Norwegian does with the Galaxy Pavilion. I'm like, oh, that's cool. They'll put that there, have a little dome room or something for it. And then we saw it on social media from you or someone else, and I'm like, it's like on the top of the ship. It's just sitting there.
You see what somebody posted?
Yes, some Facebook. Well, there's Eric. Eric had a good point too. I guess if you can put this up, I guess I'm not able to post comments. He had a good Bolt versus the go-karts, because we're talking about Prima, right? Prima has the go-karts just like Encore and some of the other ships, and then Celebration has Bolt. So I don't know. What do you think? Roller coaster, go-karts? Like what do you?
I'm still that little kid that loves go-karts and bumper cars. And I heard someone said World Europa is going to have bumper cars. I'm not sure if it's just a rumor, but somebody said MSC World Europa was going to have bumper cars. I heard that. I saw that today, but I don't know if it's true. So we'll have to see. But that would be cool. I mean, bumper cars, go-karts. I love the Norwegian Encore. You don't know. It's the same thing. You see these pictures, you don't really know. And all of a sudden I'm strapping on the helmet and everything. And I get in that go-kart. And I don't know if you were with me or not. And I had a ball. That was great. You think you're going, you're going like 30 miles an hour or something, whatever it is, but you feel like you're going much faster. And you get super aggressive and you just race it. And it was just so much fun. Really, really great time. So I can't wait to go on the go-karts again, because of course they made it 3 levels and it looks beautiful. And that's just that fit and finish. That whole area blew me away. Like, just how well it's done, how beautiful it is. I mean, you really feel like you're at a racetrack. There's nothing gimmicky about anything they do on Norwegian. It's not like they said, let's just throw this on here. You know what I mean? I don't want to sound cheesy, but there's nothing cheesy about what they do. It's just very, very well done. The laser tag area was incredible. Really, really loved that. And that just, like I said, it just showed me that this was a premium experience. Everything they do is very, very well done, and you're going to have a great time if you take a Norwegian cruise, because I think it's a great value. I know their chairman says the same thing. It's just they have a great value because for the price point. So yeah, just incredible product. So let's see. I know I kind of interrupted things here talking about the thing, but yeah,
no, I just saw it in the chat, and I'm not able. I guess I'm not looking at it. I'm not able to post it because I didn't want to cut you off. So my bad.
Yeah, I know we've been kind of neglecting our chat, and I really appreciate everybody. I just know we're just deep in conversation here. We want to bring you guys some information. Hopefully you feed off some of what we're saying here. Obviously, we're excited about cruising. We're excited about the new ships. And did you ever think you'd see that? A roller coaster. Now we have some mechanical Robotron arm that's settable with lights and sound and everything. And it is truly thrilling. And I really think this is that floating resort at sea that has a little bit of, these brands have the different brands of MSC cruises and Carnival. They have many different types of cruisers on board of different ages, and they have a little bit of everything for the different, each member of the family. So a roller coaster might not be your thing, but maybe your grandkids or your kids or there's someone in your family that you're cruising with does. And that's what it's all about. Just like a massive resort on the Caribbean, that there's a little bit of everything there for you. So yeah, it's very exciting. Wait to see one of those big wheels. What's next?
For my dears, you mean? Like just like again, it's just
like a Ferris wheel or something. And it's one, I don't know. I mean, I really would like to see the roller coaster go whip through the ship. Like, why can't it go up and down and then goes down through the atrium like on Wonder of the Seas or something like that? That middle area there, that promenade.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, the Ultimate Abyss for the Oyster class, right, comes from the back of the ship all the way down to the boardwalk, 10 stories. So, but you want to go like from one end of the ship all the way through. Someone's going to do that. It's just it's inevitable. The way
around, like you're sitting there, you're talking about getting aggravated or the noise. You're just sitting there having a little tea on your balcony. All of a sudden, wow! Somebody goes flying by. The roller coaster. It's like, yeah, we have the roller coaster cabin.
Well, that's one question folks had about Prima is because they have the drop slides and the slides go through a couple balconies. So when we go back on there, we've got people have asked a couple questions on how it works. We took some photos, but we really want to get back on there. And I don't know if those rooms might be taken, but just to check it out and see what it looks like in greater detail, because that is one question folks have. If you see it, they have literally the slide comes through the middle of a couple balconies. It's not a ton, but it's a few of them the way the slide's designed. So the roller coaster would be even that one step of people just in the middle and someone comes zooming by. But someone will think of something like that, no doubt.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm willing to bet it's on a drawing board somewhere already. Someone's thinking about all these things, but I'm sure it's how easy can you fix it, maintain it, and noise level, and because I really want to make everybody happy. And people are so sensitive to noise, let alone. Yeah. And I've already heard the complaints. I think about, hey, I bought this balcony, and now there's a slide of people bought it from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. or whatever it is, because I think they do go longer hours on Norwegian. Where you're trying to take a nap and all of a sudden you have Katie out there screaming and going down the slide.
Right. And that's why we want to do more details for folks who've been asking for. So we are going to get to that. And folks know if you've been on, as Eric's been on Prima, it sounds like, or at least knows a lot about the ship or other folks there. That's one thing we'd like to know too, because people want to be aware of that, not to book those balconies, because they are big balconies. They're in a kind of a corner. They're like L-shaped because it is where the ship bows out. But it's not worth having that extra if right in the middle of it is a slide that, to your point, 8 or 10 hours of the day, you just hear people screaming every minute or whatever it is.
But so getting back to Carnival, one thing exciting about Carnival is the cove balconies. They're on the lowest balcony level, and so you're about as close to the waterline as you can get, and it's a balcony. So that's a great feature to book, and sometimes it's cheaper than a balcony. So if you want a balcony experience, but you also enjoy being as close to the water as you can get, book a cove balcony. Really, really awesome. And like I said, you get a little discount too. So that's a great feature Carnival has. Obviously, with the Carnival Celebration, they've actually redone some areas, kind of taken, which is really, really nice. I was excited to talk to you about it. It's nice that they just didn't make a carbon copy of the last one, the Mardi Gras, which was a huge success. So they could have easily said, let's just make another one. You know what I mean? Right. But no, they've expanded those areas. They've kind of elevated those areas. They've seen how popular like Emerald's was, and reconfigured the whole dining space to accommodate more guests for longer meals rather than more like, just a tasting area. Now they can actually have a real true, easier dining experience for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And of course, they've done so many other areas, but they've redesigned some other stuff. So it's really, really exciting that they've just taken it and taken it to the next level, which is, of course, going to make a lot of Carnival cruisers really, really happy. It's been warmly received. I know people just love it. I've seen people in the groups just talking about how they booked it several times. It's super, super. And the food on board, they really have a lot of different food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Even Shaq's Big Chicken was a huge success. Really, really good. If you like fried chicken, they have tenders, sandwiches for breakfast. And that's what's nice about it. Is Carnival, kind of we were talking about, like the indulge food area, is that what it's called?
Yep.
You have this really, really popular space, right? Well, if it was just open for the one thing, or it's really popular, they've kind of taken it where rather than have people like in one spot, they've kind of expanded it where they have breakfast in many, many different areas, complimentary. And rather than just lunch or dinner, they've actually kind of just covered many. Like I said, they just broken up those bottlenecks where cruisers might go to one spot, and it just made it much more availability. And it's free food, where it's included, which is really, really nice. Where a lot of the lines are not so much. Carnival is really taking it to the next level in this particular ship. So really highly recommend it. It's good.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward. You mentioned a lot of food, so I'm there. We're talking about it, but we from Mardi Gras, we're glad it didn't change too many of the dining, because I don't know what we heard more about from folks like you when it first hit. It was either Bolt or Shaq's Big Chicken. Like those are the two things people talked about from the media event or the first couple of cruises. So I'm glad they kept that. Guys Burgers are great. They have the Pig and Anchor, right? That's still going to be on there as well as.
Oh yeah, I love barbecue. I'm not joking. It's some of the best barbecue. I mean, really, really good all around. The chicken is incredible. Like, people talk about different things, but the chicken there, whatever the ingredients are, is just really, really to die for. And they have a deli there next to the pizza thing. It's right there on the boulevard there. I'm trying to get the name of it. But me and Randy have a story about this, because we went to the naming ceremony and we stopped at the deli. But they have they have all these types of bread, right? So you have different types of like focaccia bread and round Italian round bread, like all authentic Italian breads, right? And you can pick the type of, and it was like a capicola, all the different things, like, so real true, different Italian meats and everything. And we got that wrapped up. You have this big, huge sandwich. The sandwich alone is just incredible. And that's stuff you don't find everywhere. You used to find a lot of that stuff, but some of the brands don't have that. So that just incredible. You could go on and on. But the food, very, very good. They even had a sauce fountain where you could have, it had cheeses and the sauce was a fountain. It was like, I'm not joking. It was a sauce fountain.
Huh.
Yeah, I've got to show you the big video because I don't know if they still have it or not, but they had this whole area. It was a deli and it was like a sauce fountain and it had a fresh mozzarella cheese and you could dip it. So
Is that's in the buffet?
No, it was by this Italian deli.
Oh, the Italian deli. Is that near? Is that like inside? Because I know, like you said, they spread things out. So they have
it was like
here. They have the blue, but they sell like blue iguana, right? And they still have guys and all those other places. And the deli's. Is that the street eats thing? Is that part of that?
No, this was like it's the Italian deli area. It's okay. There's and then it's right here. There's like the Cucina del Capitano. It's right outside of that. The little
right near. Okay.
The cars there and everything. It's right near there. Really, really.
We have to tell people a warning when we come to our lives. Make sure you've already eaten because we're going to talk a lot about food. And even though I just ate, like I'm getting hungry. It's like
we're both Italian.
Well, because we're both Italian, right? So inevitably talking about food.
We grew up with meatballs.
Just like a warning in front of the thumb. Don't come hungry because you're gonna leave hungry. Because for me, cruising, for Heidi and I, cruising is always like good food, good entertainment, right? And things to do, which we've been talking about for all these ships. So, but food, we always end up talking about the restaurants. Like
John might talk for 10 minutes about the bread. They got really good Italian bread. So good. It was incredible.
I was dipping it in the gravy. It was so amazing.
They had a gravy fountain. What are you?
You told me something. A gravy fountain. I gotta see this fountain now. If folks know about it, please share it on social. I gotta see this fountain.
I was like, what is going on here? This is heaven. So yeah, we're obviously really excited to get back on board there. We could go on it. The ship is just beautiful, really nice Art Deco design. It was modern, but the food offering is incredible. It was spacious. Really, we're looking forward to check it out. Actually, on board as a cruiser. So do we want to move on to a different ship? Or
I think we want to say our friend Adam. I think you know Adam from Adam's Way. Yeah. Great drone footage, great Instagrammer. If folks don't know him, check him out, follow him. I think he's got YouTube, or he's going to be doing YouTube. He has a question I want to save to the end because we're talking about new ships coming here, but he asked about a ship that I think is near and dear to our hearts as Royal Caribbean folks. That's going to come out next year. I know someone said they're going on Seascape, which I think you and I are both going to get to at least get to preview. So we could leapfrog there, and then maybe if we have time, talk about Celebrity Beyond. But we just saw we just saw the Robo-ROM from Seascape. There's going to be a lot of other great stuff on that ship too, right?
Oh yeah, there's so much going on. That I know I've been posting things about the entertainment. They've taken it up a notch. They have all these different production shows, and when we actually did our MSC cruise, the entertainment was one of the highlights of it. MSC Seaside. It was really, really incredible. It just blew us away. And it just, I've never seen so many people on board. I guess Norwegian too has a lot of cast members, but there were so many different cast members with entertainment. And of course, MSC Seascape is going to take it to the next level, I think, for MSC Seaside. They said street performers, I mean, so on, just many, many different things. So really looking forward to that.
We saw that release too. So one cruise line we haven't sailed a lot with is MSC, but everyone we talked to from like when Seaside was here, a lot of folks got on there. The entertainment they say is phenomenal. And this, like you said, sounds like they're just taking it and adding a little bit more, just improving it a little bit more. So looking forward to that. And then one thing, we were on Marvelia, so we got to do some of the dining there for a day. Like we've done these little tidbits. We've never done a full sailing on MSC. We've done like a 3-dayer and some media stuff. But the one thing I haven't gotten to eat much of is the main dining room, but I know they have a lot of specialty restaurants on board. And it sounds like Seascape will be no different either.
Yeah, the MSC is, they're known for their specialty restaurants. A lot of people, they have a lot of them. steakhouse, different things like that, seafood. I mean, many different areas. So yeah, definitely have to check it out. I know that it's the big thing is MSC Seascape is going to be christened December 7th in New York City. It's the first time ever by Godmother Sophia Loren. It's going to be her 18th ship, MSC ship, that she's been going to be the godmother for. Really incredible. Sophia Loren is a true living legend. So really exciting there. We're excited to be there. So yeah, can't wait to do that. I know not that it shouldn't, not to be under mentioned here. MSC World Europa isn't coming to the United States anytime soon, but she's actually coming out in December. So that'll be MSC's largest ship ever. It's going to be 202,000 tons. So just a little bit smaller than Wonder of the Seas. So it'll be super exciting to see that ship. Hopefully we'll get to go on that. I mean, if we're lucky.
Yeah, I know he said it's doing, I think, kind of Middle East, that region, and I think it's going to the Med in the summer. So maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll stay a little closer to home though. I'll check out Seascape because we haven't done Seaside or any of those other class, and they have, as you mentioned, the restaurants. They have their virtual reality center. They have the entertainment. They have that promenade that has the LED dome, which has shops and dining, and there's I know Meravilia had a dessert area, which is amazing.
The ships are beautiful, just beautiful ships. Really, really love them. The shows are, really incredible. When I think of MSC, I think of when you're an MSC ship, you're on an MSC ship. When you see the entertainment, it's just kind of like when you're watching a Norwegian Cruise Line. And I think that's what's kind of separating the brands is they really have their signature items from the onboard decor and ambiance to the shows, and they really separated themselves. And it's all a really good thing. And people always ask about the different brands. They're all really, really good. You just have to find one and hopefully have a really good travel agent. Not sound like I'm selling you, but a good travel agent can actually fit you with that proper brand that's going to make you hopefully give you a great experience, because we're lucky enough to try and experience some of these different things and see the different brands. But if you're booking a vacation of a lifetime and you don't have that luxury of knowing, the travel agents, they get to see and experience a lot of these things as well. They get to get on board for a day, just like we do, where you can actually, it is an investment to get aligned to that product. They're all really, really good, but it's always good to have some expert, push you in the right direction.
Yeah, for any of the ships we've talked about so far, the ones coming here, what I would say to anyone is, if someone's like, oh, I don't like cruising, or when I'm cruising, I hate it, 9 times out of 10, it's just a misalignment between what you were looking for in that trip and the cruise you went on. And it might be maybe just some friends invited you didn't do any research, or you just picked the wrong line or the wrong ship. Because even within cruise lines, right, there's a vast variety between Carnival. You go on old Carnival ships, nothing like Mardi Gras, right? We can be fair. Right. So you go on an old Royal Caribbean ship, it's not Wonder of the Seas, right? So there's just, everyone sees the brand new beautiful ships, but then maybe when they book it, they just think they're all the same, which they're not. So that's why I say, it's uber important to just kind of know what you're getting into and finding that right ship. And maybe it's even like a river ship, right? I know a lot of folks who do Viking, and they would never go on an ocean ship, which is fine, but they love the river cruises, which are great because you're in a different place each day usually, and there are sometimes these small villages or unique places and parts of the world you probably would never discover on your own, even if you did land-based tours. So I'm biased. We love cruising, but yeah, I think there's a cruise for everyone out there.
Yeah, and while you're talking, I was thinking, a lot of times, from brand A to brand B and brand C, sometimes they're priced very similar. If you get a balcony cabin on all 3 brands, like Norwegian or Carnival or Royal Caribbean, they all might be really similar priced, and even Holland America or even Celebrity. So these types of cruises might be similarly priced, depending on the time of year and place, whatever. So it takes an expert or someone that can guide you to put you on the right ship that's going to give you the best experience based on talking to you. Because what do you and your husband, what do your family want? What do you not want? And then that cruiser will come back and say, I had the best experience of my life because it was what they wanted, And a lot of times it costs us. My point is, they might cost the same amount of money, and they come back eventually as a happy customer, and have a great experience. And a lot of times we see how the affinity is for these brands. I mean, people stay with the brand for many, many years, and they start getting reward, perks as being a member of the repeaters group, because they really enjoyed it. Whereas if they started on a brand that might not fit to their tastes, then not so much, and then they go away kind of like, oh, I didn't have a good time.
Yeah.
Because it's not for everybody. So everybody's different expectations are different, So it's interesting. I think that's why that product, the cruise product, is still sold by travel agents rather than just people booking real quick, online. So you can do either or, but it's still a more complex product that people are selling. So
right, and total disclosure, neither one of us are travel agents. We're not trying to sell you anything.
We
always recommend travel professionals. We have, of course, plenty of people in our communities who are great, who know a lot about cruising and place people, but neither of us are travel agents. But I still use a travel agent most of the time.
Yeah. There's no for most travel agents don't charge extra fees at all to use them.
It's sometimes cheaper. We just got a deal from one of our travel agents who can got us a group rate, which was cheaper than the advertised rate, with an additional like $200 or $300 of onboard credit. So they're not always, but sometimes they're even cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, we could start talking about all the different ways to save money. I mean, guaranteed cabins. Look at guaranteed balcony cabin. You usually save $100 per person, so you instantly save money. You get a balcony, and you get it sometimes much, much cheaper than, if the balcony is $8.99, all of a sudden you get a guaranteed for $7.99 times 2, and you're still going to be in a balcony cabin that you just let the cruise line pick it for you. Just being flexible, you save $200 and you can use it as an onboard credit or just lesser, whatever you want to do. It just saves you money. Group rates, like you said, you go to a travel agent. Let's say the cruise is next month, but the travel agent has a group for that next month. He still has access to sell it, let's say. And so the travel agent booked that a year out, has held that balcony cabin a price that when it first was released. So it's the lowest available price. And he's got it. Okay, Don's going to get it. And now you get the rewards of that, and you get all the perks that the agent used for like maybe a cocktail party or an onboard credit or whatever it might be or something. And then you get a great price and perks, just like you bought it a year out. So my point is always talk to a travel agent, ask them are there any group rates available for my thing? People don't do that. Now a good travel agent will tell you about it, but you have to be flexible though. You might have to say, okay, well, we'd like to cruise this period. Do you have any groups in that area? Sure. You don't have to talk.
We'll have to do a whole live just with our best money saving tips. I think we could go down a rabbit hole, and I know we had some comments and questions in chat and stuff. So, but we'll definitely hold that because I agree with you. There's others, but
we're talking too long, aren't we?
No, we us. We can talk about all things, and I know some folks just posting some stuff there to get to.
And Adam's still watching. Adam's away. Are you still here, Adam? No, Adam's a great guy. Hope to cruise with him again.
Yeah, Adam is great. So he was asking us what predictions for Icon of the season. I can't post it. Which there's a big so that ship's coming here next year, of course. Big reveal 2-ish weeks from now. Royal has announced it's going to reveal the details they've been holding on to. Okay. So he was asking what our predictions might be. There was a video 2 weeks ago now about week and a half ago building Icon.
I noticed the whole aft area. It still looked like there was like the Aqua Theater area. I saw that, but the rear of the hull looked much different. Mm-hmm. So that kind of caught my eye. I did see a glassed and closed top, kind of like the new Princess ship. Is similar. It had a complete glass dome area. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'm thinking it's a similar type of area will be on that. I really don't know what is going to be in that little sphere thing there. It looked like an entertainment thing. I really no idea what that is. Maybe virtual reality. I don't know.
I know, and of course our friend Matt from Royal Caribbean blog, and I'm sure a lot of folks, questions have been guessing what that sphere is. I would think it's something. I don't know. Maybe Viking has planetariums. It could be a similar thing like that.
Yeah, people like the planetariums.
It could be, or like I said, some kind of virtual reality ride or experience.
I did see it light up in the video, so it kind of caught my eye, like LEDs. Like, I don't know. I mean, it looks like they're spending a lot of time on it. Whatever they're working on it, it's pretty cool. But What really excited me about that video, because I'm a total ship geek, was just looking at it, and it was and I love Royal Caribbean. They really made me kind of do what I'm doing today. Is just the innovation. That they when they say they're really innovating from the ground up and by creating that new class of ship, they really are taking everything that works for them and taking it to the next level. So it'd be super exciting to see what they're doing. I saw the different the new balconies. I forgot the fancy name they use with the roll-up window there.
Yeah, infinite, like celebrities,
yeah,
verandas.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Sorry, personally. I like a real balcony. So, but it does look like the ship will have those.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of traditional with you too.
Yeah. Well, have you sailed on the Edge class?
No.
Yeah. So that's the one thing on the Edge. I love the Edge class. Might be one of our favorite class of ships, but I agree. We're traditionalists in the sense that it's really just a window. That's what it ends up being, because you don't get you don't have the air around you, and most of the time it's just part of your room. So in that video, it did look like they're going to have those. I don't know if it's all the rooms going to have it, but
I hope not all the rooms. I'm guessing some of them.
I don't know. I know on like Apex, Edge, and beyond.
Probably in the places that it was going to have like a window, they probably could.
Yeah,
with that.
We'll see. But it did look like they'll have those. And then it's interesting now. It's going to be, at least from Richard Fain's comments in the videos, it's going to be bigger. Like I thought Icon was going to be like in between the Quantum and Oasis class, at least originally, but now it sounds like it's going to be even bigger than the Oasis class. How much bigger do you think they can go?
I don't know. I mean, probably a little bit, because I know it can't get too much longer because there's definitely limitations in the ports. But yeah, I think I kind of heard that they were going to go bigger. They kind of were leaking that a little bit, like teasing it, but I was just excited that I didn't see this necessarily coming. So it's very exciting to see what innovation that they're going to have. Really loved it. Of course, I got to cruise twice this past year on the Oasis class. Really loved it. And it was all new for me. So it's just super exciting to see what Royal Caribbean's coming up with. Do you want to go to some of these comments?
Yeah, so we're talking about Icon. I know folks were asking us what other questions we got out there, but yeah, I'm happy to Oasis stretch. Adam's saying he heard it's going to be an Oasis stretch. That's interesting. We can ask folks what other things will be on Icon if we got other Royal folks here. Who else? We have the comments. You got some folks on Facebook commenting. I can't see them if they are. Only you can see, I think, John.
What's that now?
I said I can only see some YouTube comments. I don't know if anyone's commenting on Facebook. I can't see it. So
I see some here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of YouTube.
Yeah, which is awesome. So there was earlier comments regarding COVID and testing. So and this is always fluid, but we just recently sailed on Holland Marco Line, which we had to take a COVID test because we were going to Canada. But as of 2 days ago, yesterday, all the COVID restrictions for Canada have been lifted. So I know our trip on Norwegian, if you're vaccinated, you do not need to take a COVID-19 test to board the ship. Have you gotten any literature about what your trip's going to be like on Prima regarding testing?
I haven't heard anything about being tested at all, so I don't think there's any. And then just this week, I believe I posted the Barbados. We just went to Barbados in April, and they've stopped all testing. Nothing.
No.
And Barbados was one of the strictest countries out there. Was really pretty rigorous compared to the other countries. So I think this is kind of the beginning of the end of the testing. I kind of knew that once the United States kind of dropped a lot of things, that other countries would follow, because there's so much competition for travel dollars out there that ultimately, when people felt it was safe enough, they would try to stop a lot of those things and lower those barriers of entry to travel as soon as they could. So it looks like they're going that way. I know Canada was very strict as well. So Canada and Barbados were super strict. Even Australia was super strict, and now all of them have lowered quite a few things. I mean, at least they brought back cruising to Australia and New Zealand. So I'm not sure about the testing there, but cruising is really back now. I think it's really come a long way, and hopefully the economy will do okay, when people can afford them. But yeah, it's nice to see people really being able to travel again. COVID, the testing and the vaccination mandates really slowed a lot of people down and deterred a lot of people from getting back to cruising, which they love.
Well, so just to be clear, right? So I agree with you 100%. But so to be clear, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to test. But if you're not vaccinated, you can still cruise with most cruise lines. But unvaccinated people do need to take a test. Right. So most of the cruise lines, I want to say it's about 3 days before you need to take an antigen or a PCR test. Check with your cruise line about what types of tests are acceptable. Yeah. But if you're vaccinated, I know, John, you're vaccinated. We're vaccinated as well. So for vaccinated adults, it looks testing is basically done. But it's for the unvaccinated. Just check with your cruise line to make sure. But you're right. Some of those protocols, which I think were necessary personally when cruising restarted, to make sure we started safe, because we knew if anything happened during that initial launch back in June of 21, then the cruise lines could have been further shut down, right? Whether you agree or not with what the CDC did in 2020, all it took would have taken as a really bad outbreak in last summer 21, and cruising could have been shut down from the U.S. for a while.
Could have been done, yeah. And I really applaud everybody, all the cruise lines. I thought they did a great job. Otherwise, we'd have a Diamond Princess all over again. Poor Princess Cruise Lines got blamed for the outbreak on Diamond Princess, and of course, it was a lot of really awful, tragic situation right at the outset of COVID, and they were one of the last people to come back. Princess really was delayed because the brand was so linked to. There's been documentaries done, and I don't want to necessarily debate it, but I really feel if they had not been as strict as they were, they would have truly had another one of those events, especially like before without all the vaccinations and everything like that. I mean, we would just have a repeat. And I mean, all of it's very, very debatable, and we're not going to do that here, of course. But
we're about positivity. There's enough negativity on YouTube.
And drink packages, right?
Yeah. We're about positivity. If you want someone complaining about cruising, there's plenty of other people on YouTube who are going to complain about whatever they're going to make a big deal out of. To get where we are now, I do agree that some of the things had to happen. Maybe the pace of change could have been quicker, but regardless, we're here now. Everyone can cruise. Everyone can cruise. You just need to follow what the guidelines are. And I don't know, what do you think? If we're going to look into our crystal ball, when do they stop even requiring to show vaccination? Because they don't require you to be boosted. So we've been boosted once. Total disclosure, I'm open and honest about it. But that was a year ago now. Well, almost a year. I got boosted in December of last year. So our first series of shots are well over a year. And then our booster is almost 10 months old now. So when do they even stop requiring, when do they stop everything?
Well, unfortunately, I was at a doctor recently and getting some lab, and the lab person she says it hasn't gone away. And I still think that people are getting it. I just think depending on how people's body respond to it, I think it's just going to be maybe another year or so. It's just going to it's going to take a while, I think, until people feel that it's just like just part of our lives. You know what I mean? Like a flu or whatever have you. I think because it was so lethal on its onset, that people are just very cautious, and the brands are cautious too because they don't want to get sued. Unfortunately, if a guest gets COVID on board, and then they want to, take the legal route, so everybody's trying to protect themselves and protect the guests, and just taking the highest level of precautions. And I think that'll be just kind of like where we're going right now. How do we get here? We're the different, and I think it'll be the next progression, whatever that is, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. But I think it's how society looks at it, and there's still places that are super conservative, and it's constantly being debated about, different outbreaks. I mean, so hopefully it goes away one day, and this is just a bad memory, so.
It will. I mean, it will happen, right? Sooner or later, it's just going to become part of the common flu season, right? Or just become something of that, and we'll learn to live with it. But I know that, as you're right, there are still people who are getting sick, and we don't want to make light of that. And but for cruising, it's still, in my opinion, safest vacation you can take right now, regardless of where you are, because they still have some of these protocols. Where there's places that don't have any protocols, and the cruise lines will be the first to tell you, hey, like we were just in Canada and it was really inconsistent. Supposedly you're supposed to wear masks in public transit, but no one in Canada really enforced it unless you're on only the planes. Like when we flew back, they required, like the planes were very strict. You had to wear a mask, but so they always say too, the cruise lines are always like, hey, a lot of it's the places we go to. So you might have to wear a mask on a shore excursion in a certain port of call, or they may require, like I said, Canada required the testing for everyone, even if you're vaccinated. Now they no longer do. So you do need to be flexible and just listen, you're getting to cruise, you're getting to see the world. And we're still trying to figure everything out. So it's sometimes the blame is on the cruise line, but it's really the destinations.
It's funny you mentioned masks and everything. You know, the crew's always been masked, which is kind of rough. You're trying to talk to them and people, you know, it's amazing how we communicate with our smiles and our facial gestures and stuff like that. And cruise director Mark Walker on Mariner of the Seas, which is the ship I got married on, of course. He actually posted today that ship masks are off. So I think the Royal Caribbean crew, at least the Mariner of the Seas, hopefully throughout the fleet, don't have any masks on, which I think is wonderful for them because it's an awful thing to have a mask on all the time.
It's about time. So Prima, they weren't wearing masks when we were on Prima, and when we were on Valiant Lady, which was out in the Med, the crew it was optional. I should say it was optional because there were a few crew members. But on Holland Merkeline, where we just were, I don't want to speak, but I'm pretty sure it was mandatory for the crew to still wear masks. So I agree. I think if the crew are vaccinated, which most of them are now because they had to be, they shouldn't be wearing it. If the guests don't need to wear it and we're all at this stage, I agree with you. I'm glad to hear. I didn't see that from Mark. So hopefully that's a Royal Caribbean thing. I'll have to check it out. But if it is, yeah, it's about time. The crew deserve, now like I said, now I can talk. So much as facial expressions. Well, we're Italian, so it's also our hands. But yeah, good. That's awesome. That it should be like that. And it feels that it's about time that happens. So I'm glad to hear that.
But even here, we're near the Atlanta area now, and we see a lot of people. Even today, we went out this afternoon for lunch, and there were people in the restaurant wearing it. So people, and I think that's a lot of it is maybe Holland America, a lot of the guests might be more conservative with that. And they see that the guests are more concerned with that. So they might be a little more hesitant to take it off because they don't want to be judged. I don't know. But yeah,
you can always wear it if you want to wear it, fine. But to require it, like I said, there were definitely a few people on some of the other ships that it was apparent didn't have a mandate were wearing, and some guests too.
Yeah,
Holland America, a lot of guests were. Let's just say, a noticeable number of guests were wearing them, even though they were optional for guests. But it was very clear the crew had to wear them. But on the other ships, no. So if you want to wear it, you still can. But not to force folks at this time to do, especially the crew when the guests aren't wearing them. It's not fair to them.
But I have some really good news, by the way.
Oh,
on top of that, Adam is still here.
Adam is still here. It's awesome.
And I think is he the one that said Oasis Stretch?
He did.
He is definitely the source here. I fly indoor skydiving, he says.
Maybe the quantum class has it. So could this icon of the seas have it?
I don't think I don't think the sphere is that though, because it's
no.
Yeah, that would look totally different.
Yeah. Well, you'd want to be able to see stuff like the skydiving on the quantum class is
it has that kind of like a shape, I don't know what that is, but I don't know. Let's see.
I'm going virtual reality. I think I'm going virtual reality.
He goes. He said this here while we're talking about Adam. And please look at him Instagram and everything. Adam Away. It's amazing drone footage.
Awesome.
He said, no idea what the sphere is. He agrees virtual reality type experience. One of the guys guessed. I said it must be someone else. We got so many comments. Really appreciate it. And while you're at it, please give us a thumbs up. Please give us a like. Please give us a subscribe and turn on notifications. Yeah. So you ready? 1, 2, 3.
If we're not scaring people away anyway, sooner or later people will get the inside joke. And if not, these two guys are just so out of touch. But I know we've been going for an hour. Yeah, I want to make sure we get to all the questions. Thanks again for a great chat. I know on YouTube, folks are checking us out both on Cruise Addicts and on Eat Sleep Cruise. It doesn't matter who you're watching it. You get to get us both tonight. We talked about when we're cruising. I'm looking at the comments real quick, make sure we answer everything. We talked, like I said, someone asked about COVID, the restrictions. We've talked about that. I don't know if you're seeing anything else, John.
I'm just a lot of people checking in. We're talking to Diane on YouTube here. She said we had a test for Holland America before embarking within 72 hours.
Yeah.
And exploring with Eric was talking about, he likes the go-karts for NCL. So he's a go-kart. He prefers the go-karts. And let's see.
Well, I do too. So we kind of passed. No one really stood up for the roller coaster. So
Diane says she's vaccinated with 2 boosters. She's not messing around there. Someone on YouTube says, "I've heard people saying COVID was rampant on their ships. People sick and coughing and buses, no mask. Never would have booked had we known they would drop all the testing and protocols." Okay.
I mean, it was pretty. I think, yeah. I think when those were announced, if you really didn't feel comfortable, people could contact their cruise lines. So I think now everyone knows what most cruise lines are requiring. Although I know you have a lot of Viking folks, and Mike's not here, but do you know what Viking's current protocols are? Because Viking honestly was the strictest. They still require daily testing, masks, etc. I know they did for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know if they have the masks on. Well, we didn't have the mask we cruised, so
Right, you're right. Yeah.
So they may. I think they dropped the daily testing. Okay, I'm trying to remember now. They dropped the daily testing. Trying to remember. But we still have to. I think you still have to be vaccinated, though.
I think so.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. And maybe did you have to come with a test? Well, we embarked from Barbados, so you had to come with a test. And actually, our test wasn't good enough. We had to get Heidi and I should say we had to get tested in the airport.
So remember, I had to run
Yeah.
ship. Yeah, I had to run from one ship to the airport, get there early enough, get tested, get to my plane, get to Barbados. But yeah, so the reason why Viking is basically they're restricted by the requirements of the different countries. And so until the countries that they sail lower their restrictions, they're going to probably have to basically do what those countries do. We were talking about that in the group. People were asking. I said they'll probably get to the point where maybe they start doing different itineraries, where they change the requirements, in certain itineraries, maybe like the Rhine River cruise or something. If things change in that region, they might be able to change things per itinerary at first, but right now they still have to be vaccinated. But the testing was driving people crazy, so they did drop that. So yeah, so that's good. And that bothered a lot of people, so that helps.
Well, Viking was a little bit. I was fine taking the test to get there, but then Viking was requiring daily. I know in Iceland we sailed with them July of 21. And you had a test every single day, and they did saliva tests, which I think most people do the nasal swab test now. But so every morning, like, you had to wake up and spit into this tube, and it's as gross.
You can't drink any juice or anything. You can't have any. You can't do anything. You had to do the same thing when we were on the Caribbean Connections on a Viking Arcanis. We were doing it every morning.
I couldn't remember. Did we have to do it on a tag
test
too?
You had to put it out by the door and everything, and you couldn't drink. You couldn't drink anything, a coffee or anything like that. You had to so you had to sit back and kind of focus on it because you didn't want to get mess it up and get kicked off or something. You don't know what's going to happen. Like if it comes back wrong, you're like, you got to go. So
yeah, I'm willing to do the protocols that are put in place. I wore the mask when they told us to wear the mask. Took the test when we had to take the test. But then I love Viking. But then it was like every morning you have to wake up and it's like It is what it is. So, to as best of your knowledge, they're not doing that anymore.
Right. Yeah, they've dropped that.
That's fair enough.
It's kind of like, okay, we're going to require. There's still going to be requirements everybody's going to be vaccinated, but they're not going to have the daily testing. If someone's sick, they can go and get some treatment, whatever have you, and if they feel like they take it from there and see what the medical staff or what their choice is if they want to leave and then. Adam Away says, I think there will be an evolution of the Aqua Theater, some sort of similar but enhanced entertainment space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what you were saying, you saw the back of the ship, so it's definitely going to have something there.
It looked like a theater. It looked like a stadium seating going down, but the hull looked different. I don't know, which was interesting. So I don't know. Just looked different. But
all the spaces on any cruise ship, I would have to say the Aqua Theater is the most unique entertainment space. I know Royal has ice skating ring and other cruise lines. Hal has a unique theater, and so does Celebrity. But I gotta say that Aqua Theater with those diving shows, that's got to be the most unique thing, right?
Yeah, And I really was one of those people like, is this really worth it, all this space? Because I'm a real aft pool lover. I love the pools and the aft of the ships where you're sitting there and these infinity pools like Viking has and a lot of other brands have these different pools. Even Carnival, how the Celebration has one. MSC has them. Really love that unobstructed aft view, in a public space. So I said, you got this big aqua theater thing here, and my family loved it. And I really, really enjoyed it. I get it now that I've sailed. I really get it. And of course, you can go up top and really get a nice, look at the aft of the ship from the top. It's just a beautiful ship. It's really stunning. Talk about a ship geek person, lover. I mean, there's so much to offer on that ship. Just beautiful. And it's just a modern marvel, And I think Adam said, I don't know if we show us. He had no idea who the Saphir is. I think we shared that already.
Yeah.
Look at any questions here.
I think we hit them all. And again, I appreciate everyone joining us, asking questions, getting involved, folks where they're sailing, what ships they're going on. I'm really happy. If folks have other questions, of course, you can always contact us, at Eat Sleep Cruise or at Cruise Addicts for anything. But I don't think I really have much more to add. We've already gone over an hour, but I know you and I could talk all night.
Yeah, we've had fun. We've talked. I mean, we've covered all the important things: Italian bread, Italian food, gravy.
Gravy fountain on Celebration or Mardi Gras.
You're gonna go on board that ship and you're gonna be like, John was talking about a gravy fountain. And it's over to the left. If you look at the deli, there's like the gravy fountain was running, and they had like the cheese, and you could get this like a roll of sauce with like cheese with it and dip it. Like a little tasting area.
I will make sure to take a video and or photo and tag you in it as soon as we find it. We're going on.
I hope it's running.
We're gonna be on before you. You're going the week after us, so I'll definitely get a photo of it first.
Yes, I just hope it's. Now I'm going to the naming ceremony, so I hope it's. I don't know if it's like a preview or just naming, but I hope it's there because it was when we had the media day. They had it running, right?
Right.
So then me and Randy went back on the naming ceremony, and we were walking around the ship, had some time, and we're like, "Oh, the gravy thing's not running. How it wasn't on." But we got the sandwich. So yeah, it just but the point is, it's just amazing food on board. A foodies like me and you will just love it. It's included. You're not getting nickel and dime. Of course, they have wonderful specialty restaurants there. So this all really, really good. Just Rudy, I want to try the Rudy's Seaview Grill. I've seen really wonderful pictures. Of course, he's just an amazing chef. So really look forward to trying that out. That's on my list. I've done a lot of the other restaurants, Cucina del Capitano, the Steakhouse at Fahrenheit 511. I'm trying to get it. Fahrenheit. Try the number. Yeah.
5. Sorry, 555.
555. Yeah, thank you. 555. So just really good. I was going to teppanyaki. All of it's really, really good. All of it's worthy of the based on your tastes. The good thing about Carnival is all of it's good. Main dining room's good. So super looking forward to it, and I know you're gonna have a great time. So I guess we've covered everything. Really, really great time. Glad to have you back here, partner.
I'm glad to talking. We great engagement. Love to do more of these. Hoping to do one. We can't do it next Sunday because I'm gonna be at sea, but I'm gonna try to do one Saturday. But so I'll touch base with you if you're available because I know I'm gonna be on land. But the one thing I have been surprised about, and I know the new Starlink internet's coming, but the last couple of ships we've been on, internet hasn't been as good as I remember it pre-COVID.
Oh, really? Yeah. I noticed we did some cruising, and sometimes it's a hit and miss. You don't know. Like Carnival's was really good. Certainly the newer ships were really good. But anytime this whole streaming thing, it really asks for a lot of resources. So it's always difficult. We all think we're going to go live, and it doesn't work out. I think
exactly. So I'm hoping next weekend, and then we'll get back. Maybe we'll do something together when we're on a ship or at a media event together. Folks might like that. I don't know. We'll see. Let us know in the chat. But it's great talking, cruising with you, and we'll get to see each other again on a ship real soon. Yeah,
well, I appreciate it. And to everybody else, have a good night. Thank you so much for joining us. All these people are still watching us. This is amazing. I tell you what, we're gonna have to I'm going to be a true YouTuber before this is all over.
Make John's dream come true, and he can be a full-time YouTuber. And I can be a guest as someone who part-time YouTubes and still works a full-time job.
No, but thank you so very much. We really appreciate it sticking us. I mean, this is great. All these people are still watching. Have a good night wherever you are, and happy cruising there, Don. Hopefully see you really soon.
Yes, thanks again, John, and good night, everyone. I really appreciate it. Have a good night.
Bye. Let's see where this goes.